It's Aggie football time, coming at you live from the Bartopbanter headquarters in Cypress, Texas. This is the Gig 'em Guys with Josh Roach and Dustin Adler. Good morning and happy Saturday, coming at you live from the Bartopbanter headquarters here in Cypress, Texas. This is the Gig 'em Guys, as stated before, episode 1, making our debut. Josh and my man Dustin, we are ready to take it over. This episode of the Gig 'em Guys is powered by Religion Tequila. This tequila is 100% blue agave, only made in small batches. It is a double gold medal winner in Las Vegas for the Global Spirit Awards, as well as the best tequila in New York in the Wine and Spirits competition. Wow. That's a mouthful. But Religion Tequila, they're making sure they are taking care of us today, so please go out to your local liquor stores and take care of them. Dustin, welcome to the studio /bar/alcoholic area. How do you feel, bud?
Man, I feel great this morning and just happy to be here and, chilling, hanging out with you on the bar top.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday mornings aren't going to be much better than this, especially when football season actually starts.
This is true.
We're basically going to be talking Aggie football. When you're talking Aggie football, there's tailgates, there's beer drinking, and there's some Texas country here and there. So
good times.
You'll get a little bit of everything in this. But a little backstory about us: we met through our now wives when we were just dating them, and we met at one of the greatest games in Kyle history, even though it was a loss.
It was a loss, but hey, we were number 6 at that time. But it was exciting just to be there, and meeting you and just seeing your excitement for A&M. It really just excited me too. So. It was fun times. I think it was just an instant click with one another.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean,
common ground, small town boys.
And the funny thing is, we both say small town boys, and I look at your town as a city, and mine as a stop sign. But it was true. We hit it off, and it's very, very weird because not that we were friends, but our wives were best friends as kids.
Yeah.
When they were younger, and liked to run around in the trees in the wilderness and act like a pack of wolves.
Yeah, I think that was influenced by my wife.
I would probably say it was, but I think Kylie was willing to run around like a wolf too. But Kylie happened to move away, if I understand correctly, and just the way their last names were in order in College Station, their dorm rooms, they were in the same dorm room. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, and I got a little history. It's it's Residence Life that sets that up, and I did some work for them a while back for Hullabaloo Dorm. Since I went to school of architecture and made some furniture for Hullabaloo Dorm with the axe down live oak trees. So with that, visiting and learning about Res Life, they have fun with the play on names.
Okay.
So obviously with our wives, Kaylee and Kylie, and their maiden names being Peters, they're like, we'll just team them up together. And little did they know, they just rekindled an old childhood friendship. So.
I can't imagine walking into a dorm and seeing someone I hadn't seen in 10 years that was arguably my best friend at that age, and now you started all over again. And then they lived in townhomes or condos right next to each other.
Yep, and that's where we met.
And that's where we met and had some beer and had a good time.
Yep.
Brenham, close to College Station.
Bluebell.
God bless Bluebell. If you think anything else is better, you're wrong. There is no argument. Bluebell is the king of the castle in the ice cream game.
Hands down.
Obviously right down the road from A&M.
Yep.
What made you, some people will leave their home area to go to another school, just because they want to kind of get out of that area. What made you want to stay in and go to Aggie land?
Really, man, it's literally only half hour away from Brenham, and just visiting it from time to time, even though it was a little bit larger. But when you're there and just meeting with people, you still get that same small town feel, even though they have just a lot more opportunity and obviously A&M,
right?
But just it still had the same small town feel, and no matter how much it's grown, even now since we entered the SEC, you've seen a lot more develop there, but it still maintains that good its main roots.
Yeah. It's night and day from 2000 to 2021. Hell, 2010 to 2021. It's crazy, and I think we have lost some of that small town feel with all the buildings, and I think I do miss that, but I think it's great for the city, Bryan and College Station, and for the students. I think they get a lot more out of it, and it makes a more desirable place. I mean, in 2010, having a few bars and a couple of restaurants, now you got everything in College Station. So that's awesome. I didn't quite have the journey that you did. I didn't actually go to A&M. Didn't care enough about school, which was a mistake early in life. Worked out well for my career now, but
You're doing great, man.
yeah, appreciate that. But didn't go to A&M, but just always was a big A&M fan. My good friend Kirk May was a big A&M fan.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really understand it. My mom lived in College Station, and when I would go, you would see all the A&M and the tradition, just the cars, everyone in maroon all the time, and different things like that, and didn't get it until Kirk started going to school there, and then I got to visit there and hang out with him a lot, and then you kind of get into that. And I was living in Houston and transferred to a Johnny Carino's at the time in College Station.
I lived across the street from there.
Man, you can't, Mondays, family platters, half price. You can't go wrong with that. Hit up a Johnny Carino's if you can find one. There ain't many left, but if you're in the Cypress area, 1960, hit it up. But yeah, I think it was my second to last day at Johnny Carino's before I came back to Houston. And it was a really pretty redhead sitting in the booth, and she was the only one that wasn't rude and obnoxious out of the group there. Kaylee wasn't there, so that's good.
That's why.
But they were just all extremely rude. And as they're leaving, horrible tip. So I was already, but then there was a phone number there, and I was like texting her and found out she was the redhead. And I was like, redhead, and I was like, hey, you should meet me at O'Banian's. We'll have a good time. We'll party. Told me she was 20. She was not 20. She had never been to a bar, and just overall, I thought she was uninterested in me. But she was just very nervous and talking off and on for several years. Ended up later in life getting married. So College Station brought me my wife. So I don't think there could be much of a better story than that.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. Same thing, A&M. That's how I met Kaylee, and man, she was quite mature for her age. With me being older, I went to Blinn before A&M. Didn't really know what I want to do either, and just always want to go to A&M. And just based off the people that I met, just the integrity that's there with all the men and women that you meet that carry a ring on their right hand, and so just rolled the dice and enrolled there only for the School of Architecture out of Blinn, and got in. So thank you for admitting me.
Give me that shot. I need that shot.
And so it definitely opened me up and expanded my horizons on just a view of the world, and just it took me places I never expected to go. So just the opportunity there was just amazing.
So, met Kylie. Her lease had ended in the condo, and she was staying with this couple named Wade and Janet. And lucky for me, I got to meet them, and Wade and Janet were part of this tailgate. And that's really what set off like my Aggie love of just the school, and the people really just went over the moon. And it's Wade and Janet, man. They're the Elkins. They're super amazing people. Always had an open room for me, even if Kylie wasn't there, which started to make Kylie jealous that I was becoming friends with her old boss and Janet. But they invited us to the Agner and Elkins family friend tailgate, and man, it is an experience. I know you've been there a couple times.
Yeah. Graciously, y'all invited me, and it was awesome.
They're
fantastic.
They're just good people, and it's you talk about small town. It's we're drinking beer, not going crazy, and we're visiting with people you don't see very often. We all live across the state, and that's when that community camaraderie comes in. And I don't know how all Aggies will take it, but the tailgate for me surpasses the actual game because I'm getting to be with my friends that I don't see as much and just talk about life and about A&M football. And then after the game, regardless win or loss, we do the same thing. So Wade and Janet introduced me to that tailgate and met some great people. Al Agner, amazing guy, super knowledgeable about A&M football.
Yes.
Dottie D, Kristen, the whole Agner family. I could go on. Aaron Troyer. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. There's so many people there, and I haven't seen y'all in a year, and I miss y'all, so I'm super pumped about the state opening up and getting to go to a football game hopefully this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I remember just getting to go there. I felt like I was just part of the family. They just welcome you right in, and just and on top of it, man, just a excellent location where where their tent's at, man.
We're not going to disclose that because we don't want everyone to know where this is, but the tradition that everyone waits for is the tailgate toast, which is it was unveiled on the Tennessee game, which was a hell of a game with the interception. And yes. What a game that was. So it was a great game to do it. But that's a little backstory about me, Dustin, friendship, A&M, what we got going on. So let's go into what everyone's talking about, A&M football. So many plays, so many games.
Yeah.
Been to a lot of them. I'm sure, been there for a few years going to school there. Got to go to some more games than I did. But
yeah.
What is the play that you remember most, let's say in your school time, since you got to go there, or just right after it? In that time, what was the play that you play over, get the goosebumps, hair standing up, and I'm sure most Aggies will agree, whatever you say, that this is one of the best plays.
Yeah, I mean, it actually goes back to when we kind of first met, and it was our second time to play Alabama. We were trailing. It was midway through the fourth quarter. We were trailing by 14, and Bama was knocking on the door again to make it 21.
Yeah, putting it way out of reach.
Putting it out of reach, yeah. Well, guess what? They fumbled the ball within like the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
And we recover it, and then we're trying to get out of the being backed out of the end zone. And I just remember, being there. Well, before we even get there, man, just being able to get a ticket to go to this game was impressive. Thanks to Kaylee's roommates at the condo. So, but just being there in the student section with everybody. But basically, going back, we got dwindled down. It was 3rd and long. Manziel was backed into the end zone. They call it a 95-yard touchdown is where the ball was at, but he threw it from the end zone. So
for sure,
like
he was a few yards in there.
And but 3rd and 9, and just connects with Mike Evans for this nice 95-yard strike. So
the only problem is you got to listen to Vern Lundquist.
Pretty subtle. That roar,
man, it's crazy.
Nice stiff arm to the cornerback.
And I mean,
just
now I've got the shit, because I remember I was jumping up and down and I pushed Kylie on her butt because I was so excited. Very unintentional, but it was a loss. We didn't come out on top that day, but the energy in Kyle Field that day was outstanding.
Yeah. We were 6, they were number 1, and our defense couldn't hold them, but it was just great to see the offense and just seeing, Manziel and Evans just connect on that. But whenever that happened, literally picked up Kaylee, and we're just jumping in the air.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody was.
Those kind of games is what keeps you coming back, regardless of win or loss. It was a hell of a game, and a hell of a fight, and awesome. Mine's going to be a little older.
Okay.
That's my email. I'm getting important information while I'm trying to do podcasts here. Look at this. Yep, so much information. Anyway, mine's going to go back a little bit, and we were talking about this 2 years ago, since we didn't get to tailgate last year. And I don't know if it was with Kristen, Dottie D, or Jan, one of those 3. And it was Serge Parker, touchdown, double overtime against Kansas State in the Big 12 championship, because
classic.
Dave South is so monotone. He doesn't get excited until it happens. So I think it's like 3rd and 17. It's a pretty long, third down. And it's just a little short pass, and Parker's speed just goes, and you know he's going to score or get at least to the 2 or 3. And Dave South, if you weren't watching the game, you thought he got 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was a great one. And I miss Dave South. I don't think there was another announcer like him. I'm biased, obviously, being an Aggie, but I definitely miss him. And that call still to this day, it's on our big play board before the game.
Exactly.
Holder is exposed here on this right side. Put a man in motion. Now they snap it.
So calm.
Going to throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown. He got a touchdown.
He's at the 5, and there's still no excitement.
Yeah.
It's just like, it is what it is. But
made it to the 5.
No one gave us much of a chance in that game, and we played lights out. That win went off on defense. It was great. One of my favorites, but. That's one of the times I was like, it was the underdogs again. You think the Bo Jackson game, the Wrecking Crew in the 80s, things like that, the underdog always made me extremely, extremely fan-oriented towards the Aggies.
Yes, absolutely.
So, we our games. Every week we want to talk about a position on our team and how we think it's going to do. Mm-hmm. What are we looking at? And I think the big question, there's 2 of them, but we're going to just do one this week.
Okay.
It's got to be the quarterback position. There was probably no one more critical at times than Kellen Mond.
I agree.
He put me in my place his senior year. That's all you can say. He after Vanderbilt, I was a little worried. I left you at my house alone because I was so mad and went to drink myself into a drunken state because I was disappointed, which I think a lot of Aggies did that night.
Yeah, the whole party left.
Yes, you were here by yourself.
I hung in there, man.
But from then on, he played very well, very consistent, made great audibles when needed, great passes when needed, and had a heck of a senior year. But now you have to fill that. You have to fill that void.
Yeah, with him being just a dual threat quarterback, he took on a major role and just just seeing what he did his senior year and as he developed over the time, and Jimbo Fisher definitely pushed him, and knew how to influence him, understood his personality, and just helped him become a better player. And here he is, going to the major leagues, and seeing where he can fit in once he moves forward with that. And that's excellent to see. And Aggie, take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. I think there's a person that needs to be involved in this conversation. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah.
It's Al Agner. This
There
young
we
man
go.
I'm calling right now, you'll hear it coming over the line. He knows football, so he can give us some insight on everything for sure. Come on, Al.
Yeah.
Josh, Dustin, what's going on this morning?
Mr.
Hey, good
Agner,
morning.
what's going on, buddy?
Man, nothing, just working.
That ain't I mean, we're kind of working. Not really, though.
There you go. There you go.
So, we were talking about a couple things earlier, including your tailgate. When was that
There you go.
when was that tailgate started, and what got it started?
Well, it was started by my grandparents. My grandpa was the class of 47 at A&M.
Wow.
And so whenever he had his two little ones, my dad and my aunt, they used to go down there probably in the 50s is when it started, my late 50s. My dad was born in 53. So, the four of them used to go down there and drop the tailgate, eat some fried chicken, and hang out, and head back home right after the game. They didn't spend too much time in College Station back then. I think back then all the games were fairly early, so they could just hit the road and go back. So it was just the four of them, and then over time it just got bigger and bigger. And then obviously my dad and my aunt went to A&M, and it just kept growing.
Yeah, it's a festivity of its own. It's its own event in College Station now. We were talking about it and talking about the tailgate toast and how much fun it is. And I had to let the listeners I couldn't divulge this location because we didn't want any more people crashing our party unless they were invited.
That's right.
We didn't want Texas to turn into California, so we're doing the same thing with the tailgate.
We got a prime location going.
Yeah, we
Somebody
do,
might
yes.
want to steal it. But, COVID sure hurt us last year. We sure missed out on some fun times last year, but hopefully we'll get it started back up this year.
I agree. So every week we want to talk about a position. Obviously, it's the quarterback position. We were talking about the loss of Mond. Do you have any insights what you're thinking? We got 3 hot quarterbacks in town now.
Yes.
A couple of them with experience, one freshman. Who could be the starter? What do we think is going to happen? And what's on your mind in the A&M quarterback situation right now?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, you're right. We've got 3 studs down there. We've got Zach Calzada, who's been there for a couple years now. He's from Georgia, really high-profile commit, and he in high school. I mean, he was a stud in high school. Only played 2 years in high school though, so he passed for about 3,500 yards and 29 touchdowns. And he has in 2019 he got to play in about 3 games for us, and he did fairly well in them, although it was kind of non-conference competition. So take it for what it's worth. But in his 3 games, he was 12 for 24, 133 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. I mean, I think the thing about Zach is he's got a really strong arm. I think some would argue he needs to find a way to put a little more touch on the ball at times. But I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, and that's the best thing he's got going for him. But he's gonna have a tough battle with Haynes King too, who got some experience this year. I don't know if him getting experience over or getting to play in a couple games this year over Zach says anything. But it seems to me like maybe Haynes might be in the run to be the next guy since he got to play against Bama and South Carolina. But Haynes was a stud in high school. I mean, he threw for 7,500 yards and 82 touchdowns.
That's some video game stats right there.
I mean, no joke. He only had 17 picks with that. But see, the thing with Haynes is he also rushed for almost 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys on the team from what I've been hearing. And so you've got a little more dynamic quarterback there for you, a little dual threat. So I think he's going to bring a little bit more upside to the quarterback position for us, and we'll see how it shapes out in spring and fall camp, though. But then the freshman, Eli Stowers,
Now, this is what I want to hear about is Mr. Stowers, your opinion on him, because he's got some major upside too.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I just hope that we can hang on to him and he can wait his turn and be patient. But I mean, he played in 3 years in high school and he threw for 7,000 yards, 66 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions, and he had over 3,300 yards of rushing with 38 touchdowns. So I mean, he's a runner too, and he's just got a whole lot of upside. But I just hope that we can keep him in Aggie land for a couple of years while we let Haynes and Calzada take the reins, and hopefully we don't have a repeat of the Sumlin area with Tyler and Kyle Allen.
I think that might be on every Aggie football fan's mind right now. Is it seems very similar to having every great quarterback in the country, and the downfall happened of it all.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this quarterback room, and it's amazing. It's always been amazing what Bama and Saban have been able to do. But even last year with Mac Jones, I mean, this kid was a stud quarterback, obviously, but I mean, he waited his turn. He waited for 3 years, and got to play for 1 year. And I remember hearing a quote. He said his dad told him one time, he went to his dad and said, I don't know what I need to do. I mean, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to wait my turn, but it's hard. He said, son, you're not a third-string quarterback. This is when he was playing behind Jalen and Tua. You are not a third-string quarterback. You're a first-string quarterback and waiting.
Yeah.
And he said, that's how you got to look at it. And that's how these kids have to look at it. I mean, yeah, it sucks being down on the depth chart, but you got to wait your turn if you want to be a part of something special, and hopefully we can.
That's so true. It's going to be
way to put it in perspective.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it in perspective. And from a champion now, he's won a natty, so he kind of knows what he's doing, and coached by the greatest. I mean, Jimbo's the man, but it's hard to say that Nick Saban's not the greatest college coach of all time. So,
for sure,
and
sure.
Luckily, we get him in the West. So, Dustin,
yes,
you got 3 quarterbacks. Who is your starter for September 4th, Kent State in Aggieland?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of going back to what Al was kind of talking about with King coming in. He kind of looked like the true number 2 coming in against Alabama and a couple other opportunities, and seeing what he did there. So during a ranked team and in our conference and such, I got to go with King. I mean, he's definitely fits that same mold as Mon, being that dual threat quarterback. I think he's going to do well in that pro set as well that Fisher has set up along in his offensive schemes. So I just see that and that excitement. Calzada is going to be right there, though. He's definitely going to push them, and as Al talked about, Calzada, he's got that cannon for an arm, but if he can just calm and just mentally slow down a little bit and see things and know when to put the heat on the ball and when to just loft it a little bit. That's the only thing I've seen, but we've seen just little of each. But
right,
with King coming in during conference games, he looked like the true number 2, and we'll fit it. So as long as there's no setback between them, I'm going King all the way.
All right, there we go. Al Agner, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I got to agree with Dustin on that one. I think it's going to be Haynes. I think him playing him against Bama and South Carolina over Calzada really says a lot. But I think that it's going to be a battle till the end, and I don't think we'll hear about a starter until after fall camp. But I think it's going to be Haynes in the end.
I guess I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon of the Haynes King train and see what happens. My big thing for him is the intangibles. Coach's son, he's thinking 3 steps ahead before the game starts, and not in a bad way. He's not looking past anyone. He's just thinking about everything that a lot of people wouldn't think about. That being said, if we all keep saying the cannon seems to be a problem with Calzada. If he tones it down a little bit, who knows what happens?
Yes,
that's right.
You just don't. But I've got to go. I got to think Haynes King is just going to have a little more, and I hope the Aggie faithful understand. And don't forget, it's his first year. It's one of these quarterbacks' first years as a starter.
Yeah, that's true.
They're getting adjusted to real SEC life, the
men.
real ball games, and we got to make sure we remember that and take that into account on how it starts off and everything. But I got to go with King.
Yeah, didn't y'all meet Haynes. at
Oh
one
my
point?
God, what a great story that was. Yes, it was at the tailgate, and Al was making his famous stuffed peppers, and they're delicious. There's always great food at the tailgate.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
Agner Friends Family Tailgate, the place to be. No one knows but us in this room and the people at tailgate. Don't try to find it. We got it hidden good. But Al's cooking, and I think we're just drinking a beer, talking, and he goes, I think that's Hayes King. And he just drops the tongs and beelines over to this group of people. And he's talking, and Jan's just looking at me. She's like, I guess you're cooking the peppers. That was a great story.
I had to go figure out what that dude was all about.
Yeah.
I mean, I
He
don't,
trusted you, Josh.
yeah. He's like, you're not going to mess up
Oh,
the
yeah.
peppers, at least not today, because I got things to do.
Yeah, he's an impressive kid for sure. Got a good head on his shoulders.
Well, Al, I appreciate your time, man. I think we might make this a little segment called Ask Al every week.
That sounds good. I'm down with it.
We'll talk about topics at the end of this episode about what it'll be next week, and we'll shoot it over to you. I think you'll have you have the information and make this go to a little something. I think it'd be awesome to maybe not in this scope, but do a little podcast with at the tailgate this year if that's possible.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun.
So, everyone, this is Al Agner, man. Thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see
Thanks,
y'all then.
Al.
Later, Al.
All right.
That guy's knowledgeable.
Yes, he is.
He knows his stuff. That being said, I want to give another shout out. This episode is powered by Religion Tequila. It is 100% small batch blue agave. They know how to win. They're like A&M. We're learning how to win. Las Vegas Gold Spirit Awards of Tequila, as well as the best tequila in New York wine and spirits competition. They're supporting us. Please go to your local liquor store, pick up a bottle, and support them because they're taking care of us. So, yeah, it's got a lot going on. Having podcasts, tequila drinking, tailgating. The big thing for A&M is we always seem to not quite capitalize on momentum. Not that we're overthinking it. You think about got to point to the wall. Travion's year, we win. We beat North Carolina State, and it really looks like we're on that trajectory with 9 wins. We back up a little bit, no fault of our own, really, playing tough teams and different things like that. And now one loss win the Orange Bowl, beat a very respectable North Carolina team
that we did,
who could be the top runner for Heisman finalist in North Carolina. Their quarterback's a beast.
Oh yeah.
Great coach, Mac Brown, knows what he's doing. He always has. He's had our number in the past. He just really has, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Are we over the hump, or are we going back to the Aggie slump? You like what I did there?
Yeah.
Right off Mr. Josh's noggin.
I'm going to say that we are over the hump. With Fisher coming in, he's had some, just past couple of years, high-profile recruiting, man. Like, just looking at the people that we've been bringing in, and he's stepped out since going to the SEC, with him coming in at that, just after a couple of years of being in it, he's really reached out to some other areas beyond Texas, like. Oh,
for sure.
There's
Georgia. You're just talking about Georgia.
Yeah,
Calzada.
Calzada. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big recruit for us to get, a couple of years ago. So with that, I think we're definitely over the hump. You can see Fisher, just his mentality of the game and his process is just being put into play, and you can see it slowly developing and growing. And I've just seen it grow each and every year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yes, we've had some seniors leave, but we got a solid defense still, a lot of them returning. But then, we do got some things on the offensive side to fix up, but that's typical. But, again, with the high-profile recruiting that we've had and all these guys coming in, they're definitely going to push one another. They're definitely going to grow quickly. And, again, yes, they're young, but they're gonna develop. And I think he's just got a solid program, and he has that history too that you've seen over the years that he's been and where he's gone.
I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. Again, I said it earlier. I was a big critic of Kellen Mond for years, and he proved me wrong this year. But I think a lot of that is the coaching style, and Mond needed a coach to push him like Jimbo. To really think about the plans, really get something set in stone. Being over the hump, I think we're over the hump. But Aggie fans have to realize there's a difference between being over the hump and losing 1-2 games every year.
Yeah.
Great coaches, even Saban, has lost 2 games, 3 games a year.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. It doesn't happen often.
Not often, but it does.
But it does happen. So do I think we're over the hump? Yes. The recruiting, like you said, is on point. We've got a stacked offensive side of the football other than our O-line, which we'll talk about in the next couple of episodes.
And just remembering the conference that we're in, too.
You're in the West, and a lot of people will hate, and they hate the SEC, and rightfully so. I'm sure when I was a Big 12 person, I was hating the SEC too.
Yep.
But when you think about the SEC West, just the people that are in it, you've got Bama constantly a top 5 team and on the verge of the national championship. It's just a given.
Yeah.
LSU, always a top 10 to 15 team, always making a splash and winning big games.
Yeah.
And
Florida.
Death Valley. I mean, you got the East, you got Florida, who's up there with Mullen, great coach.
Mm-hmm.
You come back to the West. There's us who every other year we make a splash. You've got Auburn, who's traditionally a great blue blood football team.
Yeah.
That's in the top 15, top 20 always.
Yeah, that Iron Bowl between.
It's crazy.
It's always
you never know what's going to happen. So I think we're over the hump, but do I think we win or lose more than one game? Probably. I think it's hard to say that we don't.
Yeah.
You're losing an entire offensive line. You're getting a new quarterback, but I think the mentality in College Station has changed, and I think you go back to the Clemson game where we lost in the rain.
Yeah.
When they're number one, just the mentality has changed. The thought process and the team has changed.
Yes.
The coaching has changed for the positive.
Yes.
I think we're on our way. I would love to see us in a Final Four sometime in the next few years, or competing for an SEC championship, like actually competing.
Actually, yeah.
Feinbaum and the SEC guys have always said, like, we have the infrastructure, we have the money, we have the fans.
Yes.
We've just got to hit that consistent stride. And with Jimbo, we'll see. He's got us going in an upward trajectory, but you never know. Things happen. So, but I think we have went over the hump, and we'll probably get some negative comments from some of our Longhorn friends, and they'll come after us, and LSU friends.
That's just fine.
And that's okay. Please leave a comment on YouTube, and let's have this discussion. Facebook, all kinds of stuff like that. We want y'all to reach out and tell us what you want us to talk about too, man.
Please do.
This is we're Aggies communal. It's part of what we do. So we want to make sure y'all are involved.
Yeah, we love football. We know y'all love football.
There we
That's
go.
why y'all are listening.
So episode 1 coming to a close. How do you think, man? How did we do?
I had a good time with this. Like we do this all the time each season, just kind of discussing, on our own, sitting back with a cracked one.
Yeah.
And so now we're just putting it out there and just wanted to spread it and share with y'all and even get y'all's feedback. Like we said, like shoot us some questions.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want us to talk about.
As we stated earlier, this episode's powered by Religion Tequila. We did a little raffle earlier before the show started to see who the winner is. What we do is we go based off all our subscribers, pull someone out of a hat, and go from there. This is under the Bartopbanter of umbrella media giants taking over the world. That being said, the winner this week is going to be Matthew Frazee from Glen Rose, Texas.
All right.
Man, I hadn't seen Matt. I've seen him once in the last few years, but he subscribed. We were chit-chatting a few days ago, so I'm sure him and his wife Cassie are going to be pumped for a nice little bottle of tequila. We'll give you one of these boxes, ship it out there, and make sure you get to enjoy it. We'll ship it in the next week. That way we can get on the next episode.
Hey, man. Congrats, Matt.
That being said, Dustin, I think you have some work to do. Got to do a presentation in a few minutes, right?
Yep. Hop on there and educate my people.
All right. Hey, we appreciate all the listeners to the Bartopbanter universe. This is the Gig 'em guys. I'm Josh. This is Dustin. Big shout out to Sam behind the camera, making sure we are handsome Aggie fans.
Thank you.
Getting the lighting set up, getting here early, driving to Cypress. So thank you very much again. Josh, Dustin, Sam from the Bartopbanter Studios. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Whoop!